All right, guys, what's going on? What's going on? So today we got a. This actually happened yesterday, I believe, maybe 2 days ago. But I wanted to touch on this. This is what Teddy Atlas had to say about the opponent's selection of Canelo Alvarez. I'm going to play a little bit of the clip and then give you my thoughts on the segment. All right, let's go.
I don't want to see anymore. And again, I'm not knocking Plant. I'm glad he got $10 million. Not knocking Billy Joe. He fought a real good fight up to that point, the best he could fight, and he did get a broken orbital bone. I get it. I get it. Um, but these guys weren't going to win the fight because of what I already said. I don't want to see them anymore. I don't want to see those fighters anymore, and they can keep doing that to complete this unbelievable contract that he signed for $350 million, whatever it is, and keep cashing these checks of $40, $50 million. I don't want to see him no more. I don't. I just don't. I want to see guys with enough talent to have a chance. In my mind, my cerebralness, that I can say he's got a chance because he's got enough talent, enough ability. And so if it's 168, I don't want to see these guys unless it's like Benavides. And listen, Benavides isn't the most developed guy in the world, but he's at least got talent in one area, power, one area, strength, physical, one area.
I just want to pause this really quick. I just want to say something about this. Um, here's the deal. I love Teddy Atlas. I think he's great for the sport. Um, he has a lot of history of obviously with Mike Tyson and Timothy Bradley and things like that. He's a great personality for the sport, right? And people are going crazy on him, saying how much of an idiot he is and this and that. Um, no, 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 you're never going to agree with anybody 100%, right? Even a great Burt Sugar, you know what I mean? You're never going to agree with anybody 100%. Um, Now he's going to go through a slew of names, and what he just said about Benavidez is going to pretty much pertain to everybody that he's going to name, and that's the thing, right? Canelo is arguably the best fighter in the world right now. Do I do do I think he's fighting everybody that he possibly can? No, not right now, right? But I think over time, I think over time, I hope over time we'll get it, right? Like we need the Andrade fight. We need the Charlo fight. We need the Benavidez fight. We need these fights. You know what I mean? He needs these fights for his legacy. But what our friend Teddy Atlas here is saying, he's saying that Benavidez is limited, and what I'm basically saying is all of these guys are limited. Even Canelo, at some capacity, even he's limited. Um, and if you know your boxing, you would favor Canelo in majority, if not all of those fights. But I just wanted to point that out that all of these guys are going to be limited. He's saying that he's going to say that he needs to fight all of these guys. I mean, he's saying that the guys he's fighting had no chance at all. But everybody that he's going to name is limited, is what I'm trying to say. Let's continue.
I can say, okay, okay, I'll go with it. Okay, I even I don't want to see no more unless I see maybe a Charlo, and Charlo's are not perfect, not close to it, but at least they get enough talent where if it's a catchweight fight and he drops down to to make a catchweight fight to fight him, I'll look at it because at least they got some talent to where they can pull me in to say, okay, I'll peek, I'll believe, I'll take a look, I believe that there's a chance. You know, or I want to see him if he really wants to put his stamp on a group.
Let me just pause really quick here again. You you can question Canelo's selection and opponent. I got no problem with that. But for this particular fight, this was for all the marbles at 168. You can't question that. This was for all the marbles. You know what I mean? Fair is fair, right is right. I feel like going undisputed, being the first undisputed champion at 168, that's something that you can't just pass that by. So we can't blame Canelo for that. Let's continue.
Greatest, where people get carried away.
That's
with
not
that
fair.
because there was too many great Mexican fighters, too many. But if you want to get to that, even thinking about that, go fight Beterbiev. Go fight Bivol. Yeah, and then really,
Those are great fights as well.
light heavyweight, so don't say you can't go up to light heavyweight because you did it already. You picked Kovalev.
And for the kind of money he's offering, I guarantee you can get those guys a couple pounds under 75.
Yeah, because they could never get that money anywhere else.
No.
100%.
And
I agree with Teddy on
those
that.
Two fights, Bivol and or Beterbiev, are the only two real challenges. Yes, he could fight Charlo and Benavidez, but I think we all agree that he'd again be a massive favorite against both of them, I think.
Yeah,
but
no,
against Beterbiev and Bivol, though, like that's to me is a sincere challenge. That.
I agree. That's
But
why
look,
I said, that's why
I know.
Buddy.
I'm echoing your sentiment.
Listen,
Let me pause really quick. So, listen, all of this can be questioned, but what would be better? Should we press Canelo on fighting Andrade, the Charlo twins, maybe even Errol Spence? That's a push in my opinion, but maybe even Errol Spence, and Benavidez, or do we forego those guys because we already think that Canelo is going to beat those guys? Do we forego those guys and go straight to 75 and have him challenge Bivol and the other Russian guy, Beef? Like, what do we do? You know what I mean? Like, but see, and that's the cool thing too, because it also shows how many options Canelo has. You know what I mean? Let's continue. Let's see if they got any more.
congratulations in that fight. It wasn't a bad fight.
Not at all.
But again, watching it from my perspective, from my seat, I just knew high tide was coming. I knew that. I knew all the beach chairs were going to be washed away. I knew that. I
had some bathing suits.
Doesn't make me the Mason Kreskin.
I mean, it was a 10-1 favorite.
He was a 10 to 1 favorite. That's a little bit of a tip off. And I'll throw in one other name that before you go to these, like I said, to these opponents you've been doing with Canelo, I'll take Joe Smith. Smith.
That's a good one.
And why? Listen,
Okay.
I know he's
We forget about Joe Smith at 75. We always do that. He's a really good fighter.
Whatever you want to call it, but he's got such a big heart. He's physically big and strong. He can match Canelo's strength, his physical strength, which is important. He is so tough, and he can punch.
And no one deserves a payday more than Joe Smith.
So
We'll leave it there. We'll leave that there. Listen, there's a slew of guys Canelo can fight. I get some of this hate for Canelo, but again, also, I'm fair but I'm firm, man. I don't blame him for going after Plant to get that belt. You can't blame him. I would do the same thing. You know what I mean? Now that he has the belt, get rest up, celebrate with the family. Now we would like to see the Andrades. Some people would. Now we would like to see the Charlos. Now we would love to see the Benavidez. I would love to see him and Benavidez next. And then, those heavy hitters at 75, man. Like he said, Joe Smith, the forgotten Joe Smith, man. That's a great matchup right there. Standing at 6'1", he's a big dude, strong dude, tough. Rangy, very long arms. That's a really, really intriguing fight. And I would love to break that down in the near future. And then you got Bivol, right? Very talented, very skilled, strong. Another tall guy, and Beterbiev. I mean, just a man. You know what I mean? Big, hairy. You know what I mean? Just gonna come at you. Lot of strength. Very exciting matchup. I think Canelo could actually win that fight. I'm not saying he would, but I think he could actually win that fight. I think he's smarter than Beterbiev. Beterbiev is probably stronger, most likely, right? But I think Canelo's smarter. So he has a chance in those fights. But again, I just wanted to run that by y'all, man, and see what y'all felt, how y'all feel about Teddy Atlas's words, how you feel about my take on it. Drop a comment below. And yeah, man, talk to your boy, man. Let me know what y'all think. All right? Until the next one. Peace.